Hello, hello, hello. This is this, and I'm just putting out this last video because, as you haven't heard, Sony has basically said they're going to give out a free month, and according to some of their up info that I've been hearing, Sony is admitting that they didn't really put much protection up there, and to those people who say, "But Sony did encrypt their credit card information." Yeah, and to all the reports of their credit card information being taken and them losing money out of their accounts. It's nothing to do with it, right? Yeah. So either Sony has a bad encryption, which I don't think so, or they just didn't bother encrypting those files and they didn't put much protection. Basically, what Sony did was when they installed Linux, they decided to install their own homemade version of security, which was stupid. And of course, they got caught on it. Just like they got caught on having putting rootkits into their laptops, which was not a very smart thing for them to do, and it hurt Sony financially, and they really hurt when they did that, and of course they're hurting now. And of course, somebody else was asking, well, it's not really that important that Sony got hacked. Oh, well, to that person, Sam, I'm just going to say this. Yes, it is important. First of all, Sony lost everybody's credit card information and personal information. And, and just to put this in perspective, this isn't the first time that the PlayStation Network was taken down. Yeah, Microsoft had to be taken down after their little hack, but, um, well, a couple of things. When Apple and Microsoft both got hacked, Apple didn't lose. I mean, their iTunes, they didn't lose personal information and credit card information as badly as Sony did. And this the same goes for Microsoft. They didn't lose this information and credit card information for Xbox Live as badly as Sony has. Nobody has. This is just a complete clusterfuck on Sony's part. And the fact that people are now reporting that their credit card information was stolen and that it's being used for other things, it just makes the situation worse. And now Sony's getting their asses sued. So this is now bigger. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all over CNN. And yeah, somebody's going to probably mention, well, you didn't mention Nintendo. Well, Nintendo runs on a peer to peer system, and it's a much more complicated system because, well, technically they don't have personal information, and there's no sign up on the Nintendo Wii's and or into the Nintendo DS. I'd say the 3DS, but the 3DS's internet uh, store and purchasing things hasn't been activated on the 3DS yet, but they said it's going to be activated this month at some point in time. Yeah, but at least we know that why the 3DS's uh, our internet capabilities aren't up yet, opposed to Sony's. I mean, we were told all this. I mean, anybody who owns a 3DS was told all this from the start. But anyways, and of course, the 3D, the Nintendo Wii's and the DS's work on a peer-to-peer, those buddy codes. And what they do is that they don't register you or a user by asking for any personal information. What they do is they register the hardware, and then and then if you put in a credit card on your hardware, it goes up to some server up there, and then it gives those points that you paid for on your hardware, and then it signifies only with that hardware or something like that. It's complicated. Even I don't know all of the details, but it's all peer to peer. But the other reason why this is important and why it's very important is that this is pretty much the signature end of the PlayStation 3. Um, Maybe the PlayStation 4 can pull it out, but I mean, that everybody out there protecting the PlayStation 3 and calling it the greatest gaming console in the world, they got no more arguments. there's no protecting PlayStation, Sony, and the PlayStation 3 anymore. It's junk. I mean, the graphics card is extremely old. The cell processor was killed by IBM. The Blu-ray is not selling as well as the DVDs, even though some people like to bring up their own charts to prove it is. And but even despite the whole Blu-ray argument, now that the security on the PSN has completely bottomed out and failed, it's there's really nothing left to defend on the PlayStation 3. And of course, you got the new Nintendo Wii 2 coming out, and basically Sony will most likely be forced to kill the PlayStation 3 early and just keep PlayStation 2 going, because there's really nothing on the PlayStation 3. Yeah, the PlayStation 2 had some dominant power, and it truly dominant, but the PlayStation 3 has been one clusterfuck after another, especially on its opening day when it was like $600 to buy. Seriously, there was no justification for that. But you got to give those PS3 fanboys a huge applause for just defending that kind of stupidity. And of course, and then when it came out that their graphics card was like, well, back in those days when it was last gen, yeah, dude, it was even more funnier watching them defend it. But now that the PlayStation Network has completely bottomed out and failed, and of course the PSP Go is a complete joke. Oh, pretty much the PSP in general is a complete joke because fucking Nintendo and Apple have raped that thing so badly it's non-existent. I mean, nobody even gives a shit about the PSP anymore. But yeah, this is over for the PS3. It's done, buried, gone. And the fact that Sony is now trying to come up with some sort of bullshit compromise, they're all going to have free PSN Plus for 1 month. Yeah, why don't you, and of course, selected free content. Why don't you just give them some free shit? I mean, and apologize, and get up there and apologize. You fucked up on your security. You know it. And now that they're working with a security forum out there, they're now doing the same thing that both Microsoft and Apple are doing to protect their credit card informations by going to a security forum to help them with it. I mean, Microsoft does it, Apple does it. Well, even I think Nintendo does it on, well, their webpage, not their Wii's, because the credit card information that's inputted on the Nintendo Wii's is purged and literally deleted. But yeah, well, because it's it's complicated. But yeah, thanks for your free time, Sony. You completely fucked up, and you're you're a laughable joke at this point. Excuse me.